is Omelogo Nnadi, and I am the children nurturer. This moment we're going to talk about linking children with their roots. Linking children to their roots. Is it good? Is it necessary? Is it beneficial? Or is it just whatever? I mean, you can do whatever you please. First of all, let's talk about roots. What are roots? Now, roots are the beginning of something, the origin, the foundation of a thing. Think of the roots of a plant. It is from the roots. Now, you plant a seed, and then it has to grow down first, form roots, and link it to the ground and hold it firmly before it starts to grow out. Roots are the beginning, the foundation, the origin. Now, when you think about roots in respect to a child, you think about family, lineage, culture, you think about food, you think about people, you think about clothing. You know, these are things you think about when you think about roots. And then why is it important? When you think about it, come to think about it, there are so many adults who haven't ever been to their homes. I mean, to their origin, their home countries. There are so many people who have not been home in years. For some of them, you have reasons to be. Maybe there's been a family brawl that is preventing them from relating back. Maybe there's no friendship, it's lost. Maybe there is no love, the love has gone cold. And then for these people, they must have originally felt an obligation to link to their family. It's been something they've had to do because they didn't think they had a choice. And then as they grow over the years and become adults, they don't owe anybody any obligation or any attention anymore. And then you find out that when it gets to this point, there is a divergence and they never make their way back to the roots. For some people, it could be as a result of superstition, you know. There's something they say in this climb, they call it the village people syndrome. You feel like when you take your children home or when you go home, there is also always something negative that happens. And so you want to be able to protect yourself, to protect your children from such negativity, and then you cut them off, you sever them, you know, and then you never find the reason to go back. But guess what? There are ways to go around this. But before we get to ways to go around this, let me talk about the importance of roots. What are the benefits of roots? The benefit of roots is this. It gives you confidence. It creates clout. It gives you a foundation to lean upon. It helps you to stay grounded. Just think about roots. It's something when a tree or a plant has firm roots, what it does is it holds it. It makes it impossible for storms that assail this tree or this plant it could sway it, but it could never pull it off. That is what roots do. Also, roots, it creates exposure. Roots creates a flair. Roots creates it exposes one to opportunities. It helps to bridge gaps. It cuts across wide expanses, and it links from one point to the other. These are the benefits of roots. So how do you link up with your roots? One of the things you need to note is this. You can link up to your roots from anywhere and at any time. All you need to do is to pay attention to some basic things like food, like culture, like clothing, like people. These things are important, and I'll get into that in just a minute. We'll just go on a quick commercial break, and when we return, I expand the point.
Healthy fruits, nuts, seeds, and rolled oats. All natural, oven-baked, crunchy, and oh so yummy. Purple Pearl granola, high in fiber, rich in vitamins, and a healthy snack pack for children and adults. Best taken with Purple Pearl Greek yogurt or milk, warm or cold. Purple Pearl granola, health and taste, all in one pack.
Welcome back into the Children Nurturer series, and we are talking about linking children to their roots. And we're at the point where we want to talk about ways that you can link your children to your roots. Let's talk about something like the tongue. You see, the tongue is said to be one of the greatest, one of the most powerful tools. The tongue can make, the tongue can mar. And as such, it means that language becomes a powerful tool to link one to his or her roots. You can learn your language anywhere, you know. I'd like to share an experience with you. For instance, I have a cousin, a big cousin of mine, who's been in Europe for at least 25 years. And they have children. Most of them are, about 2 or 3 of them are over the years of 20. And from the point that they were born, they always spoke the Igbo language. And so we had situations where we over here in Nigeria would speak with them over the phone, and they are speaking Igbo with us. It was quite amazing. And they mastered this so much. It was easy for them to connect with us, their people. It was easy for them to connect to the culture. It was easy for them to bridge that gap that might have existed if they had that language barrier. So you can learn the language anywhere. Now, if there are two parents in a home that are from the same place, it is easy for you to practice this at home. Speak your language to your children. If both parents are from different tribes, for instance, choose one language. Don't fight over it, please. Decide the parent who is easily available to teach this language, to impart this language, and let the child have it. Okay, but make sure that the child learns the language. Now, one of the things that you can also do is this. Do your children eat the food from your culture? You can introduce the food from your culture into your cuisine. You can give them the noodles, you can give them the rice, you can give them all these foreign dishes. But make sure that occasionally you inculcate actually the food from your culture, from your people, into the cuisine that you have in your family. What are the things you do? What about the culture of your people? Are there some rituals, healthy rituals? Are there some things that your people are known for? Teach your children. What about folklores? What about myths from your place? What about stories that you were told as children that regaled your culture and the achievements, the victories of your people? Tell your children these stories. Let them learn. Let them know. Share. If you don't have any, go and learn. It mustn't. If you don't have any link to your own family, there are other families that are from your place that you can learn from. Give these to your children. What about clothing? It's easy to wear a suit or a tie or a jacket. But what about, for instance, what we call the isiagu? That's that represents the Igbo culture. The isiagu is a clothing that the Igbo people will usually wear. What about, for instance, the red cap? What about the danshiki? Whatever it is that is a clothing from your culture, introduce it. Trail your children with these things. Sew them for yourselves and share with your friends. Try to introduce these things, and you can do this wherever you may be. That is a fantastic part.
Looking forward to 2021, and I can't help but think about what I can do, what I can add to the industry. I know, of course, the film industry, because there are so many young people out there that want to be filmmakers, but they don't know how to be filmmakers. So I'll be making a series of videos of step by step you can take to becoming a filmmaker. So I will be posting the first one on the 4th of January. The next one will definitely be the next Monday. Not everyone is opportune to be in a film school. Not everyone has the funding or support to be in a film school. So if you're out there, it would be a good time. Subscribe to the channel, click the notification button so that you don't miss out. I'll see you on the other side of 2021.
Now, I had this experience, for instance, when I was working, I I had the overall boss. I would constantly send the message to my direct line bosses, telling them to ask Omelogo to speak naturally. These instructions was constantly handed out, but it never got to me. Why? Because these people that were giving these instructions knew that I spoke normally, that this was how I spoke every time of most of the times, and so they never gave these instructions. But one time, the overall boss had cause to call me, and then he said, "Omelogo, I need you to learn to speak naturally. You have to do that." And I started, sir, I stuttered a bit, and then he picked offense and scolded so profusely and sent a query my way. And I had to explain why I was trying to challenge the boss who was telling me what to do. Now, what I wanted to say to the boss was this. I wanted to say to him, "Sir, you're asking me to speak naturally, but this is how I've always spoken. And so what you're asking me to do is to learn to speak in a way that would please you, a way you expect me to speak. It wouldn't be natural, you know?" But I didn't know how to say this. But before I could say this thing to him, he said something that, even though it hurts so much, it made a lot of sense. He said, "You are not an American. So stop talking like the Americans. You can never do it as good as the Americans." Now, that was quite judgmental. That was unfair. But I took something out of this. I speak very good English and I speak very good Igbo. But guess what? I could never speak English as good and as fantastic as the real Englishman, because I'm not an Englishwoman. And so, what you need to pay attention to is this. When you separate children from their roots, you risk giving them a ground on which to stand upon, a strong foundation. You put them like if they're like a hot house plant, I beg your pardon. They are neither here nor there. And as my boss said, they are not the Americans, and they can never be as good as the Americans. And so they are neither there doing that as the Englishman would do, and they're neither here doing like your people would do. So where do they belong? Give them that opportunity to belong somewhere. Link them to their roots. Give them their culture. Give them their food. Give them their clothing. Give them all that they require to have a firm foundation. It boosts their confidence. It gives them clout. It gives them a sense of pride and a sense of belonging. Link your children to your roots. It's really easy. You have some questions? You need some help with anything? You can reach me through the email address on your screen. The Children Nurturer will be ready to help. I'll see you next time.